Gump Report.
Now, before we get started, I got to tell you the format of what you're about to be seeing in the next couple of days. Yes, days. If I can, I am doing 4 videos. 4. So today I'm filming 2 before Collision. Then I'm going to film 2 more. I should be releasing the first video today. After I finish the first 2, I will go edit the first one, and then I will probably release it before Collision happened, because this is in the afternoon. But then if I can, I'm going to film 2 more videos tomorrow. And let me basically explain it to you. This is what you already see from the title about the releases. The next video will be about the meeting with Vince and what it really means for WWE and the fans. The third one will be a roundup. That will be filmed tomorrow. That will be talking generally about multiple different parts of wrestling. It's not going to be 100% accurate, but it will be good. It will be talking about what happened with LA Knight, Jade Cargill, what's going on with her, and a trademark that could be for her, because it has been mentioned, but I believe there's a trademark for her. You're going to have what happened with Moxley, what happened with Gail Kim, what's going on with, what was the last one? Maybe talking about a little bit about Devon again, what's happening in Impact Wrestling, what's happening in AEW, particularly when might talk about Tony Khan kind of backing up Santana, but I'm not sure if I'm going to talk about that because it's still very new. We barely seen him since he came back, so I cannot, well, I barely seen him, but I can't just go off and just talk about anything. I'll need to do more research for it. I may just mention it, and I'm going to see how it progresses, but you're going to have 3 Gump Report videos, 2 straight videos on 2 general topics, which is right now, the release. The next one will be Vince, a roundup of a whole bunch of different stuff, and the last one will be about NWA. I did talk about it, that I have heard that NWA has now gone to its new season, and the format is now different. They've changed up the format. Maybe it's due to the fact that Billy Corgan has now got married to his long-term girlfriend that he's had for a long time. Maybe that his girlfriend said, honey, we're married now. Let's do something different. Let's remake NWA again. That could be a possibility. I will have to watch it first because I think they're on episode 126 or 27. And the first change came in 124. That's what I understand. So I will have to watch it, and then I'll do it maybe halfway into the week. I'll release that one because I have to watch it when I get a chance. And then I'm going to give my feelings about it. I'm not doing a review. I'm just looking at 2 or 3 shows to know what the change has been. But let's move on, ladies and gentlemen. That's a lot to talk about. If I start coughing, please don't get upset. It's still a problem with my throat. I'm fine. I don't seem to have strep throat. But I'm not going to lie here. Because of how my readings were, they made it very clear, even though you didn't show signs of strep throat or COVID-19, you probably had it. So I probably had COVID-19, and it simulated a throat, strep throat almost. Or I had strep throat, and maybe I had them both, but the readings came out negative. So I'm still not totally good yet. But let's talk about the 23 people confirmed at this time. Now, wait a minute. I should back this up. Since the merger on the 12th, it's a little dim. Since the merger on the 12th of this month, we now, with the people that have so far been released, which is 23 supposedly confirmed, and there's probably more coming, there have been 100 people, say it again, 100 people have been released from WWE. That counts as management, which is executives and people who've been working in departments of media, probably for communications, probably for merchandise. They have been released. And then probably people who've been working in the back who are probably making sure they put up the mats, put up the ring, do the lighting, do the camera, maybe makeup, maybe production for the switching of the cameras, which is the production section, maybe costume. I don't know, but 100 people are already gone with these wrestlers. Now, I am not going to mention absolutely every wrestler here. Maybe I might do it in a thumbnail of all the names that so far that I was able to find, which is 19. New ones that came out along with Matt Riddle, I will be talking about in a minute. Yes, Matt Riddle has been released. I will talk about him in a minute. But I might just do the thumbnail of all the names, and I'm just going to say Gunt Report. Wrestlers release. Gunt Report and their names. That might just be it. No images, no nothing other than my own thumbnail. But I'm going to say now, I'm not going to mention every person on this list because I got 19 of them. I will mention them in maybe passing because many of them are from NXT that came to the main roster. Many of the others are from the main roster. And I'm going to talk how I feel about them, but it would take me more than 30 minutes to talk about absolutely everybody. And I don't want to do a 40-minute video. Particularly that my throat still tends to itch and my eyes then itch. Then I start to cough and I don't like it. I hope you understand. Now, let me give you to like this. No, give it. Guys, the reason I just botched was because of how I felt. I told people months ago, and a few people mentioned below, dude, they're not going to release them. This is going to be interesting what's going to happen with Vince. Now, I'm not talking about what happened with Vince and what could happen with Vince in this video. Not going to be here. It's going to be in the next one. But as I said, Vince was still in charge. He's still in charge of the day-to-day operations of the company, and he's still in charge of creative because he can tell Triple H and his staff whatever the hell to do. This decision came from the executive chairman of TKO Group Holdings WWE, the one that's on the board of directors, and that is Vince McMahon. This decision came from him. All these firings came from him and his desk. Whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not, this is what happened. Now, I'm going to mention a couple of names here, but if you've seen from the thumbnail, hopefully I will make one that has all the names on if I can get them all. I'm just going to mention a few of them. Mustafa Ali is gone. Dolph Ziggler is gone. Shelton Benjamin is gone. Elias is gone. Emma is gone. Her fiance right now, Madcap Moss. He's gone. Riddick Boob is gone. We lost, Dana Brooke. She's also gone. We also lost Matt Riddle. And who else is of note? Oh, the Maximum Male Models are also gone. Mace and Mansoor are gone. Now, there's more people here, but I'm going to stop. I'm going to start talking about the people. That's just a small number of people that is on my list. But let's get to the most notable ones. Let's go to Mustafa Ali. Let's make this clear. Mustafa, or Mustafa as they want to call him. His name is Mustafa. Fuck that. This guy has been screwed with the company for years. We already know this. Whether you like him or not, he did the best he could. As John Cena said, I was given a load of shit to try and make it into lemonade. Bullshit. I gotta make something out of what they gave me. It's usually shit, and I gotta make something out of it. And Mustafa Ali did everything he could to get himself over. Even when, even when Retribution showed up, he did his hardest to make it mean something. Along with Mace. Along with the former, I forgot his name from Dijak. I forgot his name. Forget it. But the current Dijak, when it comes down to it, he did everything he could to really make that faction work, which never did. He even asked to be released at one point. He said, look, I'm not happy here. Please release me. No. Go home. That's what he did. They refused to release him, so he was home. And they also, from what I understood, froze his contract while he was home. Guys, they didn't let his contract just continue from the time he left WWE, just stayed home for months. No, they froze that shit. So when he finally came back, they reinstated it. So he was stuck on the contract. They froze the contract when there could have been months that would have been off of his contract. It didn't happen. It was like he was injured. Because if you don't know, if you get injured, what WWE does now, the time limit on your contract goes through the years. If you're injured before, your contract would still be running. So if you got injured, if you came in 2020 and your contract was for 2025 and you got injured in 2022, let's say you're injured for 6 months, the way it used to be, that contract would still be running while you were out. And then even if you just recovered, your contract expires, you're done. But what WWE does now is if you got injured in 2022 and you're out for 6 months, they suspend the contract for those 6 months. And when you come back, your contract is started up again. So if you were supposed to leave in 2025, you would be out of the company in the half of 2026. So that's what happened with him. For two years ago, he asked to be released because he was not happy. They weren't doing anything with him. He was sitting in the back. And then they said, nope, we're not doing anything with you. And nope, we're not releasing you. And eventually they brought him back with retribution. Eventually they just let him do something. And that was around the time when Vince left. Then Triple H tried to do something with him, which really didn't get enough time to do anything, counting on whatever Triple H could do with him. Because let's be honest, and I'm not a Triple H fan. I respect the guy for what he did in NXT, the older version. But there was always issues with NXT. There was always issues, especially when he took total control of the product when Vince had to leave because of the probe from the FBI. He had only 9 months, guys. April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. December is when Vince started trying to get back. So he had 9 months to try and straighten out the roster, which he could not. He got some things done, and other stuff had to be put to the wayside, or was tried, but either it didn't work, or there just wasn't enough time because you had too much to do. He had to take care of Raw, SmackDown, and at the time, Main Event was still running. So he had to cover all those shows to try and do something. And I'm not telling you he did a perfect job. I'm not. There was stuff that just was too long-winded. There was other stuff that just got stopped abruptly. And a few things that did work great just didn't have enough time to mature to the point going into the next year, which was last year into this year. But with that, Mustafa Ali was basically lost in the shuffle until they threw him down to NXT this year. And it looked like maybe he would be doing something with NXT if they kept him on that roster, but they didn't. As I said many, many months ago, the brand split is going to be nothing. And guess what? They're breaking their own rules. There are people who are supposed to be exclusive to Raw, exclusive to SmackDown, and exclusive to NXT. And they broke their rules multiple times in the last couple of months to the point where there is no brand split. It doesn't feel like one. There isn't one, and they won't announce that he did it because they're not going to go back because it'll make it look bad on them. But we still remember, and we're still going to chew their asses out for it. That is the deal. But when it comes to Mustafa Ali, he's been screwed, tattooed, and never got a chance to do shit. So now, after 2 years, and then finally looks like they might try to do something, he's out. Am I sad for him? No. Because maybe now he'll do something. Maybe he'll go from NXT now to AEW. Maybe he'll do MLW. Maybe he'll do Impact. My guess is a lot of wrestlers may go to Impact Wrestling and do some tapings there. He may be one of them. I don't think they'll give him a contract, but that's just me. Next person, Dolph Ziggler. Nimitz. I forgot what his brother's name. Nimitz. What was his name? Nathan Nimitz, I believe. I could be wrong. I don't remember Dolph's brother's name. It has been so long, I forgot. But Dolph Ziggler is no longer in the company. Multiple time Intercontinental Champion, I believe. U.S. Champion, I believe. Tag Champion, at least maybe once or twice. And World Champion, maybe twice. I believe twice. The guy has been around for years. Many people, including myself, said he needs to leave WWE. But he was acting like a lifer. He didn't give a fuck about what people thought that he deserved better. He made it very clear. I love WWE. I'm going to keep doing the best I can. I don't care if you guys like it or not. I'm getting this. I'm still getting time. When I can get time, I can go and do some comedy, because he does do comedy on the side. Because he likes to go and do stand-up comedy. Not saying he makes money, but that's what he was doing. And this is what we got with a Dolph Ziggler. He was fine with the life he was in. WWE didn't always call him out. He was a lot of times in the back, or he was doing, like I said, comedy on the side when he was in the mood to do stand-up comedy. He was fine with it. But now, finally, they released him. And I believe it was 411 Mania, where there was an article, I think, of The Miz. And the article is real. I just don't remember what website, because there's a lot of websites I went to. It kind of blurred together. I went to at least 6 different websites, maybe 5 or 6 websites, looking for any information on this situation. I'm telling you right now, he said, and this is The Miz, Michael Misbin made it very clear that this is sad, but he is happy that he knew Dolph. He's a great friend of his, but clearly one of the greatest competitors he's ever faced in his career has been Dolph. There's been nobody that has ever been more important to him for his career and how many great matches he did was Dolph Ziggler. He was giving him praise. And he said, I think he basically was saying he's going to miss him. But he said the best match he's ever had in his life was with Dolph. Now, I'm not telling he's lying, but he had to be very careful what he said. Whether he said, I'm upset, this is not fair for a friend of mine that I've known for years, that we do great work together. No, he just tried to make it politically correct. Am I glad Dolph is gone? I'm surprised they hadn't done it years ago. But since Dolph has been a company man, he's done whatever Vince told him. He always knew, Vince, that he could get the work done. And Bruce Pritchard as well. Whenever they stick him somewhere, he always gave his 100%. That's one of the reasons why all of us really wanted more for Dolph. Because whenever he was in the ring, whether you like him or not, and the Select Daddy always did, fuck Dolph Ziggler. I'm sure he's happy now that Dolph has been fired, but it doesn't mean he wants the guy to suffer. I want to make this clear. The Select Daddy ain't a nasty bastard. He always complained about Dolph, but you want to make a bet that he doesn't want to see him suffer. But Dolph is fine. He's got a lot of money. He'll be fine. If he retires from wrestling, he'll be set. If he goes to another company like Impact Wrestling or AEW or MLW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, wherever he wants to go, he's going to be recognized. People will want to see him wrestle. And if he's using his original last name Nimitz, like his brother who's in AEW, he can't use the Dolph Ziggler name. That's part of WWE. So he'll probably fall back to the Nimitz name if there was another name that he used other than what his brother's using. Never know. Next, Elias. Oh my gosh. Whether you like Elias or not, that bastard got over with a fucking guitar. Let's make it clear. Everyone walks with Elias. That shit got over big, but Vince and the rest of the creative team always miss the mark halfway into when he becomes popular and halfway when he goes out of popularity. They pushed him when he was going out of popularity, and they wouldn't push him when he was going into popularity. It was not about his ring work. It was about his gimmick with the guitar, the way he acted. He did his own brother and his cousins. That is showing some level of creativity, that he can at least make it work. But he's gone now. I have no idea when he's going to go. He may go to NWA. He may go to AEW. He may end up in ROH. There's a very strong possibility that a lot of people from WWE will end up in ROH at first and then eventually be seen on AEW TV. Or he may go to Impact. There's a very strong possibility a Elias like a Dolph Ziggler could go to Impact Wrestling briefly. I'm telling you right now, there's a good strong chance we're going to be seeing a lot of people in the next couple of months because they have 3 months to wait. September, October, November, December, probably January. We're going to see Dolph maybe in Impact or AEW. We're going to see Elias and Mustafa Ali and the other people I'm going to mention here. We will be seeing them by next year. Because by the time of December going into January, if they don't go on to the independents first to try and get their feet wet and get those juices flowing, counting on how frustrated they were, being in the back, because most of them were, you're going to get this. Emma Tennille Dashwood is now also released with Madcap Moss. Her and her fiance have been released. Now, she released an X tweet. I'm just going to call it an X tweet. Talking about she wasn't surprised this was coming, that she's happy that even though she wanted a better run when she came back, because she felt in the very beginnings it was all right, but then she realized this run wasn't going to be good. But she is happy that she met the love of her life, that now she's going to be engaged. She's engaged to be married to. So in a sense, kind of like what happened with Zelina Vega, she met the love of her life in WWE. There's nothing wrong with it. Nothing. Just like when it comes to Trinity, where did she meet her husband? In FCW, which is part of WWE. A lot of people meet their significant others there. Can they stay together is going to be the question. Now, I'm not saying Madcap Moss and, I don't know what he's going to be called now. I don't know if Moss and Tennille are going to last. I hope they do. I don't like seeing wrestlers break up because of situations. It's good to see wrestlers stay together if they've earned their respect for each other, they love each other, and they want to spend the rest of their lives with each other, have kids if they want that. I'm hoping it'll be alright for them. Alright, Riddick Boobs. I don't know what to say because I barely saw much of him, but he was different. He kind of reminded me of Ravishing Rick Rude because of the way he looked. I don't know how long he's been in the business. Hopefully he will be alright. But there's someone here that is not going to be alright. Top Dollar's gone. Oh man, Top Dollar. That stupid son of a bitch. I'm saying it now. I'm sure in real life, the real Top Dollar, the real guy, he's probably a great guy to talk to. A great friend. You love him and all that. He might be the most modest and kindest guy you can meet. But when you become a pro wrestler, one of the issues you will have eventually, no matter how big it is or how small it is your ego. Even my Trinity for two has an ego. I love my girl. I adore my girl. But there's going to be some level of ego with her. Like everybody else, they either have a very small ego or an ego that's this big. And when it comes to Top Dollar, that stupid son of a bitch who decided to try and do a helo over the top turn rope, landed on his feet and hurt his knee, and was hammered by a Michael Cole for months, and how stupid he did it and how stupid he was. He was not an Angelo Dawkins that is just as big as him and can do a helo over the ring and do a tope suicida. He can do it because he's done it. But Top Dollar is not as flexible as he is and not as fast as he is, and he just wasn't as great. He was good as a hype man, but as a wrestler, he had a lot to be desired. And now he's gone. But that stupid bitch decided, and I'm making it clear again, as a pro wrestler, because the X tweet he did is as a pro wrestler to try and show that he is worth something. But as the real guy that you can meet in real life, he's probably a great guy. Not every pro wrestler's a bitch and a piece of garbage. There are a few that are. But in general, there are a lot of pro wrestlers that are really kind. I met a wrestler in training. I think I told this once before. Before the pandemic, right around 2020 or 19, I got fiber internet. And before I got it, Verizon had to come in here and set up what was going on. And I met a guy who was a representative of Verizon who is a training pro wrestler. And we spoke for a little while. And I've always known that pro wrestlers can be good, they can be determined, they can be driven, and this guy showed it. But I did warn him, and I don't think he remembers after these so many years, because it's been more than a few years. I told him, because he worked in the promotion House of Glory with JD. He actually met him. He knew him to a certain extent. And I told him, you're crazy to go to WWE. You're going crazy. You want to go so badly. He said, yeah. And I said, have you heard about what JD has been talking about when it comes to WWE? And he said, JD doesn't fully understand. I said, please listen to me. As a guy who does wrestling reviews, as somebody who's not really popular but does understand enough of the business, please be cautious. The business can chew your ass up. So I told him to be careful. I don't know if he made it or not, or if he's still going. Hopefully he is. But I did give him that warning, and I know wrestlers are good. But going back to Top Dollar, he said in his X tweet that, hey guys, look at this. Look at all the bookings I'm going to have when I can wrestle again. He wanted to show that WWE didn't know what they were missing, and he already got spots ready for him when he's able to wrestle after the 3 months that he's got to wait to be free. Bitch! I have a feeling I'm going to have to. I'm at 25 minutes. I'm about to do 26. I'm going to go past 30 minutes. Fuck! But I'm telling you, Top Dollar was foolish because he believed he was a lot more than what he is. Now, I'm not telling you he can't wrestle. He can to a certain extent. But he's the type of wrestler that believes he's way better than what people see. And a lot of times, those people who think they are way better than they think they are, and people have an issue with them, and they keep telling them, hey, you need to do this. I don't need you. I know what I'm doing. Usually will never get very far. Oh, they'll get on a spot, but then they choke when that spot is that difficult because people will criticize them and critique their technique. Because if he gets a spot at AEW, let's say he gets a spot in AEW. Let's say that he's able to get on AEW TV for a couple of months. And he's hyping himself up and Tony's booking him right. But the minute he gets in that ring and he fucks up, he is going to be eaten alive for his actions, for his stupid mouth talking on X tweet. Because, as I said, the actual guy could be great. But when that wrestling mode kicks in and he believes that he's better than everybody else and he just proved he is not, he's going to look like a bitch. I'm just saying. Next, let's move on to Dana Brooke. I got to do for my girl. I got to. I might do a couple of more guys and then I'm going to be finished. I know I'm going to have to edit this video because I'm going beyond 30 minutes. Dana Brooke. Miss who had been working with a... How can I say this about Dana? I've never hated Dana. I know she's tried multiple times to do something with what they've given her. Look, she worked with the 24/7 title for over a year, on and off, with R-Truth to try and do something with it. And not many people give her credit. She tried her hardest to make that title mean something, either in a comedic way or in a really serious way. I'm not saying she did great. Dana has always been hovering between okay, which is average, very rarely up here. Most of the time she hovers between here and here. That is how she's always been. And I want to make it clear, I'm not against Dana. But be honest, she's never been that great in WWE. Either they never booked her for her strengths, or whatever strength they've been booking has been more sexualized. And since she's been more sexualized than anything else, unfortunately, she went into a pattern like most female wrestlers who have been put in that position. They make it all about the tits, all about the ass, and try their best to make the best of it. And a lot of times, character is going to go down. Wrestling is going to go down. She really tried her best to try and bring up the wrestling and tried to bring up the character. I'll give her that. Particularly in NXT, she's been trying to make it mean something with her. And I forgot, Kiana Jordan, I believe her name. Kiana. I can't remember. But with Jordan and dealing with all the other women, she's tried her hardest to sell it. But now, after more than a decade of being with WWE, I think at least a decade or more, she's been with WWE, at least a decade, or near a decade. She's gone. This is where it's going to be very hard to gauge where she's going to go. I do not know where she's going to end up. But, the first one that comes to mind will probably be Impact. I know you'll say, oh, they're going to pick her up in AEW and throw in RH. She might try to go there first. But with so many people that's being released now, with everyone saying, well, let's go to AEW, there is no way Tony's going to pick up every person and give them a shot on RH TV. RH doesn't really have the huge numbers it deserves and has an honor club. It just doesn't. So I doubt she's really going to go straight there immediately. She might go to Impact. She might. Or she may go to MLW. I haven't seen MLW. I don't know, because when it comes down to it, you got WWE, AEW, Impact Wrestling, and everything else you can't see below the camera. MLW is not the same height as Impact, no matter how much they'll say they are. No matter if they got good TV and everything. If they did, they would be more high than they are, and they're not. And I'm not taking away anything from them. But Impact is still number 3. They still get a lot of the people from Impact. Trinity decided to go to Impact instead of MLW because she knew the Knockouts is one of the most hottest things they got. Let's be honest. What we got for the 1000th episode of Impact Wrestling, it may not have been perfect, but it's more interesting to see all those knockouts than what they showed us on NXT TV with a tag team, which was more about getting a Becky Lynch a match than about the women that need the rub, like a Tiffany Stratton, like a Kiana James, and a Valkyria. It was about Becky. So I gotta say that. Now, let's see who else. Dabba-Kato is gone. After all those crazy things he did, he's gone. Let me see here. The last person I'm going to talk about, it's obvious because I'm not forgetting him, is Matt Riddle. Yesterday when I was looking at SmackDown, I decided, because I was going to probably do my Gump Report then, right after I did my SmackDown review, I was going to do the Gump Report. So when the commercials came on, I checked other sites to see if there's any new information about when it comes down to the firings, the releases. And I found out Matt Riddle's gone. And it was before anyone had left a comment on my other videos, because I know a few people left a comment, at least one person left a comment on the AEW video, and another one left it on the 1000 episode part 2. So I already knew, as I said in my video review, already that Matt was gone. And the information I managed to get, I went across 3 sites. It didn't say what, JD, because after I found out, I checked JD, and he did a video on Matt Riddle, at least a little bit, about why he was gone, because supposedly of the drug addiction, because of what was going on with his wife, and now the problem when he had done there being accusations, and he alleged that a female cop sexually harassed him at, I think, in New York JFK, I think. I can't remember where he was. I think it was either New York or somewhere else. He was waiting at the airport, and he was sexually harassed by a female cop. But there, supposedly, from what JD heard, or what he knows, that Matt was drunk. Possibly drunk or basically wasted. Now, I can't tell you what's going on because I did not find any general information. I'll have to go back and do another check again, but I'm making the video now. I can't tell you that the brass in the back got sick of this, particularly with the allegations from the police, or female police officer doing sexual harassment on him. I don't know if that's the reason why he was fired. It probably was. I just know that Matt is now done. He's finished. whether it's due to the fact that when he was in MMA, he had problems with them too, and it was a manual that said to Vince, I don't want him here. Getting rid of him. Maybe. Or because of the problems with the drug addiction, with his wife giving him problems, and now the allegations from the female cop he said sexually harassed him. I don't know. I cannot tell you if it's true or not. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But we now have lost the one that was on TV the most. We lost Matt Riddle, who was on TV. Mustafa Ali was on TV. He's gone. Dolph Ziggler most of the time was on there. Shelton Benjamin, and I didn't talk about Shelton, who basically is going to be a Hall of Famer. If they don't put him in a WWE Hall of Fame, that is a travesty. And I know I didn't talk about Shelton, and he deserved better than this, but I am not surprised. They got rid of him once before. He came back. Now they got rid of him again. I truly believe that once you see so many of these people missing, they have to replace them with people that are probably from NXT. So we're probably going to see Braun Breaker come up. Carmelo Hayes is going to probably come up. And some women are going to come up. Maybe one or two of the women, counting if they're not going to get rid of Isla Dawn and Alba Fire and Carter and Chance and Indy Hartwell and who else? I know there's some other women I'm forgetting. But essentially, I doubt this is over yet. We may get rid of Indy Hartwell. Chance, Carter, Aladon, Alba Fire, they may be gone. Yes, B-Fab and Adonis are still there, but there's no guarantee that B-Fab and Adonis are going to stay there. I believe that eventually they're just going to get rid of another 40 people or more. And then all the people that are generally in NXT are going to be moved up by the time of Royal Rumble. If they don't just throw them up there without any booking, or even know what they do. Because it's been stated, and I'm saying this right now, that if you've seen Athena's interview, that's over a year and a half old now, when she was with Chris Van Vliet, she made it very clear that whenever you're pulled up from NXT, they don't know nothing about you. They don't watch the product of NXT. They don't know what gimmick you're doing. They don't know what you are. Literally. Instead of having a system where they have some people that when it's time to bring them up, they have some people who work with the creative team that watch the other product so they can fill in the blanks so when they come up, they know what they're dealing with. No, they don't do it. If you think that WWE does that, that shows you how broken the system is. Because instead of having a group that go between the creative of NXT and the creative on the main roster, they have people there that's watching the product here. So when they had been told that we're probably going to bring someone up, they watch the product at least a couple of weeks or a couple of months ahead of time before that person's come up, and then that group of people or person goes to the writers and say, okay, this person's coming up, this is the gimmick they have, this is what they can do, this is how they wrestle, let's get going. No. You will be stuck coming up to the main roster with nothing. And that's what's going to happen. It is going to be a big mess again, just like it's been for the last 5 to 8 years, that Vince pulls people up. He has no idea who they are. He doesn't like how they wrestle. And then he tears them down to rebuild them to go into the main roster. And in many cases, either he'll leave them in the back for months, then maybe he'll use them, and then not fully right for them, just make them do some matches, and people go, who the fuck are you? That's what's going to happen here. We're going to have a huge mess on our hands, because counting on how many more people are going to be taken from the main roster that came up from NXT, or who's been on the main roster, you know who could be next? Ciampa could be next. You could have, who else? I'm not thinking Gunther's going anywhere. Maybe Da Vinci and Kaiser could go. They may get rid of Imperium. People say, no, they won't do that. They could. They could. Because if they're willing to get rid of most of these people, they'll get rid of them. If they think Gunther doesn't need them. They could do, Johnny Wrestling could go. They may get rid of him. Again. Johnny Gargano could be gone. His wife could be gone. Indy Hartwell could be gone. You could see so many women disappear, and then they're going to bring all these women up that probably will not be writing for it properly or understand who they are. And think about this. Bronson Reed could be gone. Yeah. Ricochet, yes, he's over. But you never know that they'll say, you know what? We don't really need him. We got other wrestlers. Look at LWO. We got Toro. We got Wild. Maybe they'll get rid of Toro and Wild. Or they'll get rid of Ricochet because we got El Toro and we got Wild. We got high-flying wrestlers. They may get rid of J.D. McDonough. They're not going to get rid of Dom because of Ray being there. But honestly, a lot of people are going to disappear. But this is just me. And I just went to 40 minutes. Damn it. I'm doing my next video after this. Peace.